Hello, hello, friends. Welcome back to the Blushing Mint. I am Dion, and I thank you so very much for joining me today for another quick video in our industrial style journal featuring the monthly subscription kit from Pink Monarch Prints. And so I hope you guys are doing great. I'm so happy to have you here with me. You can see I've made a little bit of progress here. Not a lot. It looks like a lot, but it really isn't. And so I took Cooper to the groomer this morning. So I thought, well, I have a little bit of time. I can do a quick video for you guys about where I'm at. When I went to the groomer, I stopped. I got myself a beautiful lavender lemonade lotus drink. And then I came back home, and I'll have to go back and get him here in a bit. But I wanted to show you kind of what I've done so far. So the first thing I did is with the ephemera that I had already got cut out and ready to go, I went ahead and split that in so that I have the same amount essentially in each one of the signatures that I currently have. So I just went ahead and kind of split that. And so I have some pieces here that are going to go into this particular one. And then I had this idea for where I wanted this journal to go. And of course, being industrial style, it needs one of my faux leather covers. And in the kit, there was this triple pocket that is in the printable kit itself. And so all I did is I cut that out. And I glued it together. Before I glued it, I inked each one of the edges of all the pages, or of all the pieces, I'm sorry. So this gives us a triple pocket here. So we have a pocket here, a pocket here, a pocket here, and then I have my beautiful faux leather cover. Now, here's where our signature currently sits. I did a little bit of that stamping. Oh, I did an envelope too. I'll show that to you. But what I did is I took one of my faux leather covers, which I use the manila envelopes, mailing envelopes. And I swear I'm going to do a tutorial because I'm now down to, I think, 2 covers. So after I finish this journal, I will do a tutorial on how I make these leather covers because I have to. So what I did is I cut my envelope down to fit my signature. So, and I made mine, I make it a 1/4 inch taller and about a 1/2 inch wider than my signature. So basically it's 9 1/4 tall by 4 1/4 wide. So when I cut it down, I cut it to 9 1/4 by 8 1/2. So that gives me a 1/4 on the back end of each side, and then basically not quite 1/8 of an inch on the top and bottom. So I just like the way that when that fits in there, that I like the way that it looks. So once I cut my envelope to size, I had to figure out what I wanted to do for a closure. And I wanted something that was fairly simple, that wasn't feminine, that didn't involve lace or buttons or anything like that. And I found these cute bulldog clips, or I don't know, binder clips. I don't really know exactly what you call them. And so I thought, ooh, that is a great idea. Something very simple. And so I took my my binding string, just my wax string here, and I just cut a little piece of that off. And I tied it to one side of the bulldog clip. And then I made those strings longer and I actually glued them down inside my file folder or my cover, because once I cut this to size, I have, so like this is what, whoops, this is what it looks like as a whole, but by the time I trimmed it down, then my whole thing comes open off the top and bottom, etc. So I was like, ooh, this gives me pause to be able to do quite a few things with this ahead of time. So I glued down my strings, and then I covered them with a strip of paper because I don't want them to come out. Now, even though I'm going to sew around the whole thing, I really want things to be reinforced. So while I came up with my closure, this is the first time I've done this, you guys, so if I sound like I'm so confused and everything, it's because I had this idea, but I've never done it like this, so it was a learning curve for me too. So it may not be perfect, it may not be how it should be done, but it's my first time and I'm hoping it's going to work. So then once I figured that I wanted to do the triple pocket as the front, and I knew I wanted to sew around the triple pocket, but I thought, why not just sew it into the cover, because my cover was completely opened, and I was thinking ahead, because usually when I'm doing my covers, I don't think far enough ahead to actually sew into them before I get so far down the road. So I sewed that in, and then I also just put a little bead of glue over all of the stitching just to make sure. I don't know. It's just me being maybe anal, because that's just sometimes me. I'm just a little OCD. So anyway, I put a bead of glue around that, and then I selected my what I wanted, and I didn't necessarily want it to be so journal centered. So I just found the notes. I just found notes, and I thought that was great. And then I took and I have these metal book plates, and I stamped it with my black ink, and then I sprayed it with some Tim Holtz mica spray. Let me see if I can find that in my drawer here. Not that one. Yeah. So I have this Distress mica spray, and it's in brushed pewter. So after I had, these were just a plain galvanized metal look. So after I did the black, then I hit them with some of this distressed mica spray, and I heat set it. And then I put my 2 brads in there, and they close. So they are affixed back on the back side of the envelope, which is really our cover. And so that is where I'm at right now. Now, I think this is a good feel and whatnot for the journal, but I want to maybe I wanted to audition another piece of cardstock in here just to see. Ooh, I think I might want to just go ahead and glue this other piece of cardstock in here just to give it a little extra heft through the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this cardstock off real quick. I just made a quick fold there. And okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to glue this in to the middle-ish. I don't mind that the tops and the bottoms are going to be a little not as covered. That's okay to me. I just want the heft of the center to be good. So I'm going to pause you for a second and I'm going to glue this down and then I'll be back to show you. Okay, so now that I've got that glued in there, I'm starting to think about the other things that might go onto this cover. And so one of the things that I always add 2 things to every journal inside cover. And I add my library pocket with my library card in here. And then I always also add my, let me just show you on Summer Prelude here. I also add my little business card placket and my Uniquely Handmade limited edition. And so I'm thinking, you know, I should probably do those and then I can sew those into the cover as well before I actually put the whole thing together. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that. And now, mind you, this is the first time I'm thinking this far ahead. I usually get so excited about just getting things done that I forget about some of these elements. So, yeah, anyway, so let's see. What, maybe this here. Yep, I think we'll do this here for this. Now, this is my way of, this is not necessarily the right way, but this is how I do it because I need to cut out this piece here because I always cover my library pocket. So how I do it is I load up and stamp up this edge right here. And then I lay the paper that I'm going to be covering it with right across it. And then I rub really good. And what that usually does is it leaves me a decent, we'll see, give me a second. Let me make sure. Yes, I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I can. But it gives me a decent imprint of where I need to make these cuts at. So then I can just cut right along that inked mark. And if I need to trim off a little bit more, I certainly can. Trim it when I'm done. So then I will do a quick glue here of this. And we'll cover this up real good. And then we'll end up sewing this into our journal cover. cut it so well I didn't even hardly have to trim. Nice. Okay. And then we'll line this as well with another piece, and we'll use this one here. These are just cutoffs from cutting out all the ephemera that I had backed the back pages with. So that's where all my scraps are coming from, guys. It's not, I'm not, you know, I haven't created anything new or anything like that. This is all just my scraps. That tucks down in there. I like it. Put a little glue in here. Get my edges good. So yeah, so this is kind of my process when I'm building my covers and finishing my journals. But I usually never think this far ahead to actually do the sewing in the journal prior to finishing it. So I'm turning a new leaf, friends. I'm turning a new leaf. Don't get used to it because I probably won't remember it on the next one. Oh, I'm special. I am a level of special that only exists inside these walls, let me tell you. Some days. All right, now I want to ink this up good. Put my cap in my glue here. Ink my edges. And I'm telling you, the inking of the edges brings the whole thing together. It's absolutely crazy. And especially with this kit, I don't know, it's just that industrial feel, I guess. Really just calls for it. Love it. Love it. Okay. So now we have that. What I'm going to do is set this aside. Set my card over here. Get rid of the things I don't need. I'm going to bring my sewing machine over, but then, so with this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew it right here into my book. But in order to keep it stable while I'm sewing, I'm actually going to go ahead and just apply a little bit of Fabri-Tac because it is the glue that I need to use to make it stick. I also have these adhesive adhesive strips here that will help with keeping it stuck. But I'm also going to just go ahead and apply a thin amount of Fabri-Tac through here just to help keep that down and in the right place while I'm sewing. So that is what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to position it where I want it. And I will say the method that I use for my faux leather covers has a little bit of a it has a little bit of a waxy feel to it. So some glues don't like to adhere as well to it. That's why planning ahead for me is very important, because then I can sew these elements on and I never have to worry about if they're going to come off or not. So now I'm going to bring my sewing machine over and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to do a running stitch around this pocket, and then I will be back with you guys. So I'm going to pause you while I do that and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I have that sewed in now. Curves and I are not friends, but that's okay. Embracing imperfections, is what it is. So I'm going to go ahead again and just put that line of glue all around my seams. And like I said, I don't know that it does anything or if it's just me being OCD, but I like to just make sure that if somebody were to pull on a seam, or if a seam was not perfectly down or whatever, they're glued in and I don't have to worry about that coming up either. Then the only other thing that I put on here is my two elements here. And I'm okay with just gluing those into the back, but I'm wondering if I want to, because this is a tall journal, there's plenty of room for me to do a belly band in here. And so with my with that being said, and us having our book page strips, I think this strip right here could make a pretty awesome belly band for this journal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this. Where's my paper cutter, friends? I want to be able to use part of this upper strip with this strip. So I don't want to use the whole thing. I want to give that a little bit of an edge. Now I have that. Oh, the horses are out to see me. That is always fun when I have friends in my shed, near my shed. Hopefully it makes sense now for those of you who have watched my videos and I say my shed, my studio, my view, my horses, my cows, whatever, you know, all my visitors. Hopefully now maybe it makes a bit more sense when I'm talking about things and you're like, I wonder where she is. Well, now you know. Now you know, friends. I've showed you around. I have ordered new blades for all of my paper cutters. Some I swore I had extras, but clearly I've used them all or lost them because I can't find them. Anywho. All right. So with this, I think we'll want to sew this in as well. Bless me and my crooked eye, friends. Bless me and my crooked eye. I'll fix it with my cutting board, but okay. Something like that. We're going to ink up all the edges before we get too far here. Oh, maybe. Oh, look, the cutoff piece was like perfect. It's all right. It's okay. We're going to use this one anyway. It's all right. It's okay. Ink the edges. Everything just seriously comes together with that little extra level of inking. Just crazy. Okay. And then I love it. So I'm going to put down a bit of glue here. And I can come back and embellish these further once, you know, we're doing our decoration and everything else. This is just pre-work. Oh, the horses are actually talking to me this morning. This is just pre-work to get ourselves ready. Now, after I did that, something dawned on me. I need to sew around this. I need to sew across the top and across the bottom, and then I need to glue it in. So bear with me, gotta make some more changes. All right, so I went ahead and sewed around the top and bottom of that, and then I went ahead and sewed it into the signature, or into the cover itself. And then now I think that is everything that needs to be sewn into or attached to this cover. I don't do anything on the very back of them. I just leave those blank like a book would be. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I am just going to do a quick stitch around all of this cover, and then I will be back and we'll get to doing a little bit more work. So hang tight, friends. Okay, well, I have sewed all around that, and I just did a small zigzag stitch all around that. And now, because that envelope was cut, you do see some of the manila envelope there, so we need to fix that. Sorry, my daughter called, so I had to chat with her for a few minutes. So when you see all those manila envelope edges, all I do is I just take my distress ink and my distress tool, and I literally just inked around all of those edges again. I also ink over the knots of the thread, that way it blends seamlessly. And now you have no visible edges, no other color other than just the color of our cover. So that is how I do that. And so now let's do something fun or something in this journal. Okay. Get our journal. Got to find my journal again here. Okay. So what I did for the center of this journal is I just took one of the extra sheets that I had printed from the kit, and I just folded it over so that it fit inside the signature. I did have to cut a little bit off, and then I folded it up. I folded my edges together, and then I just used my scissors and just created a free-form shape. That is where the paper is going to tuck into. And then I did the same thing with my upper, is I just folded it in half, created that free-form shape that gave my flap. And then even though this was fully lined, I added a little bit of extra reinforcement where it's going to continue to be opened. And this is also where it's going to be, not where it's going to be sewn into the signature. So I'm going to sew it into the signature here. And then it's going to close up like this, fold here. But I just want that to have a little extra sturdiness. So I just gave it a little extra dimension in there. I think before I sew it into the signature, actually, I'm just going to go ahead and put a strip of masking tape on it, just to reinforce. I don't need it to be paper thick. I just want to reinforce this edge here where I'm going to be sewing it into that signature. So I think I'll just reinforce that a little bit. It's not going to be seen at all, so it doesn't matter what you use in it. It's just a extra level of protection for how it gets used. And that masking tape isn't going to add as much bulk or anything as if I was adding an extra piece of paper or something like that. And I didn't do a good job trimming. Oh my goodness. All right. Refold that there. Okay, so then that becomes the center of our signature here. We'll have this nice little pocket that you can tuck anything into that you'd like there. Okay, so that is that. Now, what I am thinking is I'm going to go ahead and I am going to sew this signature together and sew it into the journal. That way, anything that I add to it, I know exactly the width and the dimensions that I have to work with. So I'm going to go ahead, I think, and I'm going to get this signature sewn into this journal. I am loving how this is going to come together. This is fantastic. I'm excited about this. So I'm going to go ahead and get my supplies here. I'm going to do black because I have the black on the clip. So I'm going to be strategic and continue to use that color here. And okay, so as always, a little more than 2 times the length of our, or the height of our signature. Here. And because I'm not putting any small pages or anything like that, our pages should all be the same height, and so we shouldn't have any issues making sure we catch anything other than our center envelope here. Okay. And then we set this into here. And we go, oh, I guess I need my little tool first. Through our center. Top. Ooh. And bottom. Okay, so again, doing our signatures. I know you guys seen this, but sometimes it helps to see it again. So through the center, find your center hole. Leave some tail there. And then it doesn't matter if you go through the top or through the bottom first. And then in through that one. Oh, my hands are killing me, friends. I don't know what the deal is. I gotta go see the doctor. Okay. Okay, and then down to the bottom. And out the bottom, back. And then back up through our center, making sure that we don't sew through our and I popped my needle out instead. Look at me. Not being very neat about this one today, let me tell you. Not doing a good job for you guys. Okay, and then back. Up through the center of that. Alrighty. Like so. Oh my goodness, I cannot pull. All right, and then as always, we want to make sure we have one string on each side of our string there in order to tie the best knot. We want to make sure that our threads are tight, tight, tight. Okay. And then we just tie our center knot here. And because this is going to be closed, we can go ahead and trim these up close. Remove this. I just had this random thought that I just sewed it in backwards, but I did not, thank heavens, because then I would have been really mad at myself. All right, let's get rid of these things we do not need here off of our space. All right, oh my goodness. This is magical. And then there. Cute. Okay. So we can go ahead and we can close up our envelope here. On both sides of that. I like it. Got a little bit of ink there. Okay, so then we have a pocket for our center of our signature, or an envelope, I'm sorry. Envelope, pocket, whatever. So that is the center of our signature. And so then we're going to probably want to put like a pocket here maybe. This one, can tuck in here. Where am I at? 45 minutes. All right. I am going to call this a video for right now. So basically you've seen me put together the cover, sew the things into the cover, get the cover sewn in. We've done our belly band. So basically, I've just kind of rehashed some things that I've done. We've sewn in the signature, did our envelope. I'm going to call that a video for today. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to do some interior decorating. So that's how we're going to leave today's video, guys. And then I will just look forward to seeing you in the next video. As always, I so appreciate you. I thank you for being subscribers, for commenting, for liking. Those of you who have been sharing, I so appreciate that as well. If you have not subscribed, if this is your first time, please, I'd love to have you hit the subscribe button if you think there's content here that you might want to see. And as always, please leave me some thumbs up, guys. Thumbs up really help. They really help, and it just lets me know that you like what I'm doing. And so give me a thumbs up down there, and subscribe if you have not already. I hope that in the meantime you guys are finding time to craft, to be creative, and I will just visit with you guys in the next video. Thanks so much, friends. Take care. Bye-bye.